Here was annexed by the city of Pittsburgh in 1868 and increased the land area of the city about 20 times by doing that at the whole East End and so on. And so the issue of developing this land was a very big issue in the 1870s and the 1880s, 1890s. There was a lot of controversy over legislation, but there are a lot of large estates here, as you know, at one time. Laram, of course, Mellon, and so on along the line. And a lot of those people wanted to subdivide the land and make a lot of money from real estate speculation. And Ed Bigelow, who was, you probably know as the father of Pittsburgh Parks, that big statue in Kennedy Park, was very critical in developing this area and the infrastructure here, laying out streets and starting the drive to put sewers in and to culvert the streams too. One question that came up, John Stevens and I talked about this, is well, the chief reason I think why they culverted the stream was because of the desire to avoid flooding. There was very serious flooding, and particularly the flooding that went down to Washington Boulevard. And I found a statement from a city government report in the early 1920s that talked specifically about that point. What a difference it made now that you didn't have to worry about floods in Washington Boulevard and how highland takes place in that period of time. The culverting of a lot of streams took place in that period of time, like 9 Mile Run, of course, also 4 Mile Run, and those other runs that are culverted. And if you want, I can send you a map that was devised by my dear former colleague Tim Collins of all the streams that existed in Pittsburgh in 1800. Shows them all marked out, and you'd be amazed at really how many there were. And then you look at a map of 1993, and you find they're almost all gone, except for 9 Mile Run and a little bit of a couple of others.
I asked Mr. Germany, who's a member of the Farmer Consensus Group and the Green Team, to provide some background about
one of the founders of this was Miss Orlean Carroll. She started over 40-some years ago with this vision plan, her and the architect, Steve Hawkins. In 2002, Senator Furlow, at the time was Representative Preston, got together and said that we needed to organize and come and put we put 5 action teams together. That was our biggest project that got us off the ground was the village green. You'll probably go through it today. We're in the process for next year to how to get more volunteers and how to get sustainable funds to keep the project going, because over the last 5 years all the young volunteers, and they came out and helped us, they moved on to college and out of state and stuff like that. And 80% of this neighborhood is seniors.
A few words about this spot before we get started. But in addition to Bob, I think also Ian Lipsky is a member of our the professional team on the steering committee for Living Waters. Christine Mondor, who's a architect with Laval, PA, and
the stream used to come more or less right over here, the other side of this building, and cross the railroad. We're not sure exactly where. The old maps are not very clear, but probably that was the first point at which the stream was culverted and channeled below ground. Many things have been done to the stream. The pathway that's shown on your map isn't really the natural original path of the stream, which, by the way, always change in any case. At one point, the stream all along this whole area sort of disappeared. That was sometime toward the end of the 19th century. We're not sure exactly when, but the sewers that are there that carry all the combined sewage lead eventually along that pathway down into Washington.